For the questions. باب قول الله تعالى حتى إذا فزع عن قلوبهم قالوا ماذا قال ربكم قالوا الحق وهو العلي الكبير. What the Lord has said. What the Lord has said. The verse حتى إذا فزع عن قلوبهم, until when fear is banished from their hearts, the angels. Until the fear is banished from their hearts, they say, what is it that your Lord has said? They say the truth, and He is the most high, the most great. This is chapter to show that even the angels of Allah, the best, those creation that created from light, and they are more powerful and more strong than the human beings, still see how their affairs with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That they have the fear in their hearts, as it will come also in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and how they fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as it's mentioned for example in Surah Al-Anbiya, that they worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala constantly and have the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they are the angels. So it definitely befits the human being, the weak human being, to have the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that the person, so no matter how much righteous he is, he cannot benefit himself unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestow that ni'mah to him. So why should people turn to saints and human beings when the angels themselves, they have the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That means a person should turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. So this verse by itself, and it will come the reason why this verse was revealed in the next hadith, but it shows this refuting all the different ways of associating partners with Allah. Those who they worship besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are not in the same levels of the angels, and still it is refuted. It shows also that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the attribute of Allah of speech, قالوا ماذا قال ربكم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in a way that nothing is the like of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are not the creation of Allah, it's an attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وهو العلي الكبير. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most high with His being subhanahu wa ta'ala, and with His power and so on. And that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is over His throne, over His creation. Nothing is the like of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as Imam Malik rahimahullah, when he was asked, when a person asked him about al-istiwa, about the rose over the throne, Imam Malik rahimahullah, he said, al-istiwa ma'loom. That means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rose over His throne. This is known. It's Arabic language, the meaning is clear. And al-iman bihi wajib, and believing in that is wajib, is mandatory. Wal-kayf majhul, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala istawa al-arsh, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rose over His throne, it's unknown to us, because there's no revelation with that regard. وَالسُّؤَالَ عَنْهُ بِدْعَةٌ, and asking about it is bid'ah, innovation in the religion, meaning asking about how the matter is, or distorting the meaning of it. And this is the belief of all the Imam Abi Hanifa, Imam Ahmad, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Malik, and that's why this is the belief of all the early generations of Islam, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is over His creation, over His throne subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is with everyone with His knowledge and power subhanahu wa ta'ala, but the being of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over His creation, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran. So when we say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is everywhere, this is a wrong statement. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is over His creation. The hadith in Sahih Muslim, when the young girl that one of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, Al-Hakam al-Sulami, when he hit her, and she was brought to the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet ﷺ asked her, Sahih Muslim, he said, where is Allah? Ayn Allah? She said, Fis sama', in the heavens, meaning over the creation of Allah, over the heavens, over the skies. He said, alayhi salatu wassalam, Man ana, who am I? She said, you are the messenger of Allah. The Prophet ﷺ told the companion, أَعْتِقْهَا فَإِنَّهَا مُؤْمِنَةٌ, free her, because she's a believer. So the question is valid, because the Prophet ﷺ asked her, Ayn Allah, where is Allah? And the answer, as it's clearly stated, that He subhanahu wa ta'ala over His creation, subhanahu wa ta'ala, the quality or the attribute of al-ulu, that He is the most high subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is clearly from the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. But why people would fall into the other ways of ta'wil and changing? Because of the problem of resembling the attributes of Allah to the human being. And that's a mistake. We should not resemble the attributes of Allah to the human beings, otherwise, we would fall into denying the attributes of Allah. So this is the belief of the people of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, with regarding to this attribute of Allah. The hadith explains what the verse means. في الصحيح عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: إذا قضى الله الأمر في السماء ضربت الملائكة بأجنحتها خضعانا لقوله كأنه سلسلة على صفوان ينفذهم ذلك حتى إذا فزع عن قلوبهم قالوا ماذا قال ربكم؟ قالوا الحق وهو العلي الكبير فيسمعها مسترق السمع ومسترق السمع هكذا بعضه فوق بعض. ووصفه سفيان بكفه فحرفها وبدد بين أصابعه فيسمع الكلمة فيلقيها إلى من تحته ثم يلقيها الآخر إلى من تحته حتى يلقيها على لسان الساحر أو الكاهن فربما أدركه الشهاب قبل أن يلقيها وربما ألقاها قبل أن يدركه فيكذب معها 100 كذبة فيقال أليس قد قال لنا يوم كذا وكذا كذا وكذا فيصدق بتلك الكلمة التي سمعت من السماء. This is the hadith that explains the verse. When Allah decrees some order in the heaven, when the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is decreed in the heaven, the angels flutter their wings, indicating complete surrender to His saying, which sounds like chains being dragged on rock. And when the state of fear is banished from their hearts, which is what the verse says, they say, what is that your Lord has said? They say the truth. So when the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes down, as we heard, and the angels would say that, they would say the truth, and He is the most high, the most great. Then the stealthy listeners, meaning the devils, hear this order from the angels, and these stealthy listeners are like this, one over the other. Sufyan, the sub-narrator of the hadith, demonstrated that by holding his hand upright and separating the fingers. That means they're on top of each other, meaning the devils. A stealthy listener hears a word which he will convey to that which is below him, and the second will convey it to that who is below him, till the last of them will convey it to the wizard or foreteller, the sorcerer of the human beings. Sometimes a flame, a fire might strike the devil before he can convey it, and sometimes he may convey it before the flame strikes him. Whereupon the wizard adds to that word 100 lies. The people will then say, didn't he, meaning the magician, tell such and such a thing on such and such date? So that magician is said to have told the truth because of the statement which has been heard from the heavens. And this is hadith in Bukhari, which shows and explains this verse, as we heard. So this is how the devils, they get to hear what the angels would say. They would hear it, but then they would reveal it to the sorcerer, and the sorcerer would never be helped by the devils unless he's a kafir. That's why sorcery is kufr, because they won't help him till he curses Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, till he abuses the Quran and do all kinds of things, and then they would help him. This is what they get from him. So they would convey one truth of what they heard with 100 lies. And the sorcerer would say something that might happen in the future or whatever there is, and he would have 100 lies and one truth. So when that one truth happens, people only remember that and they forget about the 100 lies. They say, see, he said such and such would happen on the day of such and such. But they forget that he said with it 100 lies. Why didn't they forget about this? This is how the nature of the human being is. And he's a fortune teller. It's haram, it's kufr to ask him, because the ghaib, the unseen, is only from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And again, it shows that why some of the things that the sorcerer would say that it's true is because of that. He hears what the angels would say, and one thing with 100 lies, as the Prophet ﷺ said. The point of this hadith, it explains the verse. See how the angels, with their power, nature, they cannot even benefit themselves, and they have the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it refutes the disbelievers, those who turn to the angels, for example, or the messengers, when they worship them besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it shows how Muslims should exalt Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He is the one that is worthy of worship. And also states the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most high, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not everywhere. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is over His throne, over His creation subhanahu wa ta'ala, as the hadith clearly mentions that. The Sahaba radiallahu anhu, when they heard this, they did not distort the meaning of it. It's very clear. And again, nothing is the like of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that take care of the how the matter is. But why? Because this is not in our capacity, because it's not been revealed to us how the matter is. But the meanings are clear, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is over His creation, over His throne subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, it shows to refuting the ways of the sorcerers and the magicians and so on, and that sometimes they say the truth, but with hundreds of lies, and that people would, subhanallah, they would ignore these lies and they would just remember the one truth. And it also, another benefit, which is the ulama mentioned, it shows that what really matters is what the most of the thing is, and not the exceptions. Right? So the sorcerer is a liar, although he might say one thing that is true. But why he's a liar? Because 100 lies and one thing that is true makes him a liar. Does not make him a truthful person. Makes him a liar. Right? So al-ghalib, or the norm, that's where the rulings usually are built on what the norm is, not the exceptions. And this has so many benefits, even in the tafsir of the Quran, or and many things in matters of the religion, and things also that we use in our life. Right? The last hadith in the chapter, عن النواس بن سمعان رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا أراد الله تعالى أن يوحي بالأمر, when Allah wishes to reveal something to man, تكلم بالوحي أخذت السماوات منه رجفة, He speaks out the words to be revealed. تكلم بالوحي. See, the words is تكلم بالوحي. This hadith was reported by Ibn Khuzaymah, Ibn Abi Asim في السنة, والآجري في الشريعة, an authentic hadith. That when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to reveal something, like to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, تكلم الوحي, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would speak out the words to be revealed. أخذت السماوات منه رجفة أو قال رعدة خوفا من الله تعالى. At this, the heavens shake strongly in fear of Him. When the words of Allah fall upon the inhabitants of heaven, فإذا سمع ذلك أهل السماوات صعقوا وخروا لله سجدا فيكون أول من يرفع رأسه جبريل فيكلمه الله من وحيه بما أراد ثم يمر جبريل على الملائكة كلما مر بسماء سأله ملائكتها ماذا قال ربنا يا جبريل فيقول جبريل قال الحق وهو العلي الكبير فيقولون كلهم مثل ما قال جبريل فينتهي جبريل بالوحي إلى حيث أمره الله تعالى. So whenever this happens, the heavens shake strongly in fear of Him. When the words of Allah fall upon the inhabitants of heaven, of the heavens, they are taken by shock. They are taken by shock and fall prostrate, meaning the angels. The first of them to raise his head is the angel Jibreel, whom Allah speaks out of the revelation what He wishes. Then Jibreel passes by the other angels in different heavens and is asked at each station, what did your Lord say, O Jibreel? He answers, He said the truth, He is the most high, the most great, and all repeat the same after him. Then Jibreel moves on to the destination with the revelation to where commanded by Allah the Most High. So again, this is another explanation of how the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and how the status of the angels, although Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Jibreel for example, he is the best of the angels and so much powerful, but he's a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the exaltation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also proves that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks the revelation in a way that fits Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing is the like of Him. And also states the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Most High, and the status of Jibreel alayhi salam.